And as I mentioned this morning to the family, that's easier said than done. But I'm sure Ava wants us to keep moving forward and to continue living out her legacy in her honor. Ava loved to play bingo. Over the years, she has spent countless hours playing. So in Ava's honor, I would like to play a single card of bingo. As we look at our bingo card, there's always a free space in that center, giving us at least one dot box in any game. I'd like to say this free space represents Ava's love of the game. So Jay, can you please help me out and fill that space in? If you've ever played bingo with Ava, she definitely had a routine. In front of her, she would line up her rubber ducks, giving her good luck. Ava even had a special bracelet created for the game. It had daubers, bingo cards, and bingo balls. She loved playing the game at any place that offered it. She was the queen at bingo playing, that is for sure. So let's start the game. The first number called is B5. B5. This box represents Ava as a daughter and a sister. She was born on December 29, 1956 in Bronx, New York, to Joseph and Carolyn Entler. She was the oldest of 3 children and sister to Gus and Regina. The Entler family first lived in the Bronx, and when Ava was around 17, they moved to Upper Saddle River in New Jersey. I-25 has been called. Ava attended Catholic grade school and high school, graduating in 1974. Ava then attended a community college before completing her bachelor's degree in speech and theater at Fairleigh Dickinson College. Ava spent the next year acting in local plays. She eventually explored other careers, but her love for theater followed her throughout life. Ava's favorite musicals were Gone with the Wind, with her actor crush of Clark Gable, and The Phantom of the Opera, which she had the opportunity to see on stage. The next number called is N32. How appropriate. This number represents the 32 years of marriage to John. It was on a blind date Ava met. The second date was out at El Tour's Mexican restaurant in Roseville. The third date attending a Vikings game. John mentioned after the game they hopped on over to Grandma's restaurant, where the conversation finally hit it off, talking about movies. They ultimately found something in common, and I guess we could say the rest was history. Ava and John were married on July 16, 1988. They settled down in Richfield for 30 years before moving to Prior Lake in 2018. B1 has been called another appropriate number. Ava was the #1 mother. She was so proud of Sarah and relished every moment that she had with her. The next ball is 072. 072. Oh, wow. We almost have a bingo right out of the gate. As Sarah started school, Ava took a position as the lunch lady, later as an office receptionist. This allowed her to be with Sarah as well as there for her community. Sarah recalls her mom clipping box tops and peeling them off, and may I add, pressing them flat, the Campbell's soup labels for the school to purchase additional equipment and supplies. G59 is our next number. I think this box could represent her love for the casinos. Ava and John loved trying their luck at the casinos, especially Mystic Lake Grand Casino, and Treasure Island. As a family, they enjoyed long weekends visiting the casinos. Even Sarah got into the fun. She looked forward to playing in the childcare area while Ava and John were trying to win it big. The caller draws the ball, I-16, or excuse me, I-61. No, I-16, you're right, no, I-16. All of a sudden I'm going, wait a minute, that's not right, I-16. Gotta trust my words here. Ava loved movies. Remember, this was the common thread between John and her at the beginning. It also connected Sarah into this picture. The family has an extended library of movies at their home. Ava especially loved any of the Predator movies, Silence of the Lambs, A League on Their Own, documentaries of actors and musicians, and the list goes on and on. Ava, John, and Sarah also enjoyed going to movie theaters and made sure they had popcorn to eat for themselves. And John made sure there was enough to go home for an extra special treat for the birds as well. B11 has been called, B11. Ava had many interests and hobbies, with shopping being on the top of the list. She was always looking for that great deal, always looking out for that next Coach purchase. Even often started purchasing that special Christmas gift for her family and friends in January already. In her later years, shopping was completed using magazines. It did not matter the avenue. John would just smile and keep paying the bills. The next number is 067. Another passion of Ava was reading. She was an avid reader and enjoyed the authors of Susan Grafton, the Sky O'Malley series, and Nancy Drew collections. The past years, Ava liked paging through the gossip magazines, especially like People's Magazine. B3. Ooh, we almost got a second pack for bingo. B3. B3 represents her other interest. Ava loved chocolate, any sort of chocolate. She loved creating needlepoint masterpieces and liked the Minions characters. In Ava's later years, she spent countless hours putting together puzzles as well. The next ball called is 062. 062. Ava enjoyed treating herself with manicures and pedicures. She liked having her nails brightly painted. For decades, she's seen the same manicurists, even following them from store to store. Ava also liked the Avon products. I hope this next number gives us a bingo. G60. 61. No, 60. There we go. Oh, darn. Ava had a wonderful sense of humor. She had so many one-liners. That's okay. The light was pink. The horn works. Try the lights. She's blonde to the bone. Let's go with plan B. Show up and see what happens. Can you recall one of her famous lines? Okay, Jay, I feel really confident on this next number. N37. N37. Oh, dang. We're so close. Ava was strong-willed and was going to get things her way. She never took no for an answer. Could these characteristics have a common connection to her Italian heritage? John, did I say that right? Italian? I love the magnet that they brought in that hung on her refrigerator. Living with an Italian builds character. And the next number is G56. G56. Look at that, we got a bingo. How ironic. The last two digits of her birth year, 1956. Ava Marie was a daughter, a sister, a wife, a mother, and a friend. She lived a full and vibrant life until November 8th, 2007, when she had her stroke. Ava continued living life to the best of her ability. She created her own language and gestures to still be able to communicate with her family. Ava continued to enjoy movies, watching TV, shopping, putting puzzles together, and most of all, being around her family. There are two phrases that I had in my opening remarks that I want to reflect back on. You rise to your feet and shout out loud, bingo, mighty proud. The other bingo players follow you with your eyes as you happily claim that winning prize. John, Sarah, and the rest of Ava's immediate family, your hearts are broken. You're feeling lost, angry, sad, and your life has changed forever. But consider this. Ava has risen to her feet. Now to be able to walk, run, and to do things that she has not been able to do for almost 13 years. She can now shout out mighty proud and truly communicate. At the same time, we are the other bingo players following with our eyes. But our eyes now follow your memories in our hearts and in our minds. As Ava now happily claims that winning prize. Ava's prize is paradise. So the next time you hear the words bingo, think of Ava. I want to thank everyone for playing along with me for a bit. And now I'll invite John to come forward to share a message in honor of Ava.
Hopefully many games bingo. I've never seen it where every number was under. And just for people who don't play bingo, this is a double bingo. 4 corners counts. So had a bingo all the time. Thank you for coming here and for all of us joining on Zoom. For the last 12 plus years, we had a pretty lonely existence. After our stroke, people did not know how to handle their handicap, so the easiest thing to do was nothing, make me up. I'm here to tell you that if you're ever in a similar situation with someone else, please do the hard thing and stay in communication. A little of your time goes a long way. No one saw how she would light up after a simple phone call. Don't just say, whatever I can do for you, just let me know. That's an impossible question, especially at the beginning. When we would figure out what could be done to help, the quickest way to make those people disappear was to try and cash in on their offer. A half hour of your time every now and again could be a wonderful time. Sharing some gossip, a story, and showing that you actually care are priceless. Now for a little bit of our life together. We met on a blind date, as you heard. And I almost blew it right away. Her 2 favorite football teams were the Steelers and the Cowboys. Well, in the 80s, as a Vikings fan, I couldn't think of 2 more teams that I hated more. She got tickets through work to a Vikings-Giants game and invited me. And after the game, when we went to Grandma's, things started to click. Eventually, we moved into her apartment, and people would say that we were living in Salem. And she would say, no, we live in Eden Prairie. After we were married during one of the hottest summers ever, I remember wearing these shoes and scalding my feet. We bought our house in Richfield. On one of our first nights, she had an asthma attack. The previous owner had a dog and wasn't real good on cleaning up. I ran upstairs to get her clothes, and she was refusing them. I couldn't understand why, and then she gasped, "They don't match." And I'm like, "Put them on." She was very feisty and would fight to get her way. Once flowers were delivered to the house, and she went, "Oh, thank you." And I said, "But I wish I could take credit. They were from the manager of the bank apologizing for the treatment of her by one of the loan officers in the argument that they had had." And he said that he was going to use that as an example of how not to treat our customers. I knew she had turned into a true Minnesotan when her car didn't start one cold morning, so she walked to the bus stop at 20 below, and her eyes froze shut. She loved bingo and going to the casinos. She also loved the movies. And she hooked us up with free tickets from a promo company. We actually got to see movies like Ghost and Die Hard for free, because nobody was sure they were going to be a hit at the time. She once did a jigsaw puzzle where all the pieces were the same. It was just an apartment building, and you had to follow a conversation in the apartment building. To find out if you had it right, you had to flip it over while sliding in another piece of glass and getting it over. One piece was a treat. We flipped it over, and out of 500 pieces, we found out she had 4 that were wrong. But other than that, it's better. I'd still be working on it. Well, she also kept like keep busy doing needlepoint and knitting. And I still have the bookmarks and a sweater that she did for me. She had no problem expressing her feelings. Once when a car cut me off, Sarah piped up and said, "That guy's an asshole, right?" I gritted my teeth. I said, "Where did you hear that?" "Oh, Mom says that all the time." After the stroke, it was a very long road. She hated PT. Her speech was very limited, but when she had to do PT, the Effenheimer came out quite clearly. One day, Sarah needed some money, so Ava turned to me. I said I didn't have much, so I would have to go to the ATM. So she looked at both of us and said, "Go buy her some money." She still held on to her feistiness. Once she actually browbeat somebody from out of parking in a handicapped space at Cub Foods. I got into the car, and the woman was waiting to apologize. David was doing this. Then he backed up. Okay. She also still held on to her little babies. Once in a grocery store, her little one was fussing, and her mother was trying everything possible. We were in the next lane, and Ava kept waving, playing peek, and looking, and the child was fascinated by her. The kid just settled down, and the mother was throwing groceries on as fast as she could. And as long as they could maintain the line of sight, that kid was happy as hell, and a very grateful mother that day. There were several hospital visits, some short, a lot of them a week or longer. 2 kidney stones, one 9mm, one 11mm. Her appendix taken out on Easter Sunday one year, and parathyroid surgery. But she would bounce back, and we would still go to bingo movies. We have a lot of jigsaw puzzles. She always said that when she dies, to go have a big party and raise a glass in her memory. May her memory be a blessing.
Nicely done, John. It's tough when you have somebody that, like Ava, that experience such traumatic physical disability. But she was still able to make communication. John, you mentioned about, money. She would do this. She was still able to communicate. So piggybacking on what John mentioned, is that when you find yourself in a situation, don't back down. Don't back down. It's just as hard for her as it is for you to be able to step forward and to continue on that relationship. While Ava's gone, her light lives on in each of us she touched. We close our gathering of Ava's life still with sadness in our hearts, but treasure the gifts we have been given to have shared the world with her. Be grateful that Ava was a part of your life and let her influences, her character, her warmth, and her deeds live on. Vow to carry her in your hearts, to let her values speak through your words and your actions, to share her with each other through stories, pictures, and memories. Celebrate my life. Remember me with love and joy. Let gratitude fill your heart. Thankful for the time we had gone, yet not apart. If we measure life in moments, not months or years, I lived 100 lifetimes, loved by all who hold me dear. I hope you'll find your smile and generously speak my name. Share stories in my heart, your love for life unchanged. Celebrate the life I lived. I'll be watching from above. I am always with you, sending my light and love. Today, tomorrow, and beyond, let us look forward as we give thanks for the past. May we live our lives in a way that demonstrates that life matters. Let us live our lives in a way that demonstrates that the life we live does have meaning and purpose. Let us live our lives by touching others with kindness in large ways and small ways, in positive ways that we may never know. Let us go in comfort and peace for each other's friendships, knowing that beyond the absence, there is presence. That beyond the aching, there is healing. That beyond the silence, there is spoken words. That beyond spoken words, there is understanding. And that through all understanding, there is love. On behalf of John, Sarah, and Jacob, thank you for joining us. And it has been an honor to be walking with you, honoring Ava. This concludes our time together. So for those that joined us virtually, again, thank you. And everybody, take care.